Welcome to In the Huddle with John Ritchie. We made it to the farthest possible point that anybody can in the football season, the Super Bowl. John, you were once in a Super Bowl with your final year with the Raiders. You didn't get the win, but what do you remember from that experience?
I remember how important it was for all of us to leave no stone unturned, and uh, that year it was a 1 week gap between the conference championship and the Super Bowl, which going through that rushed experience, I'm glad that they've done away with the single week to get ready thing because it was just too much. It was too much. You win your conference, and immediately after the game, emergency meeting. You're trying to get your family situated and out the door. You're headed off to a Super Bowl, the biggest moments of your life. That was crazy. Uh, being with I was on injured reserve when we lost in '04 with the Eagles down in Jacksonville. So that was tough for me, being that I wasn't a playing member of the team, and I wanted more than anything to just be able to make a difference and contribute. And of course, I could not. So uh, that was trying to be there and seeing everything that the guys were doing to get ready. Losing both, I mean, honestly, that is probably the biggest takeaway for me, that I built up, I mean, a lifetime of expectations for what it would feel like to win it all, to win the world championship, and then to have that not turn out the way I expected. Both times I was expecting to celebrate and enjoy the Super Bowl process after we won it, and I didn't. I never enjoyed it. It was devastating both times. And so I think that's the biggest shame of it all, because everyone who's playing in this game has dreamt about it their entire lives. And half those guys and half those coaches will go home and wish they would have done things differently, and wish they could have made a bigger difference, and wish they would have gotten their assignment right on this play or that play, wish they would have made a better throw, or made a more sound tackle on this play. But I think the bottom line is everyone wants to make it as uh, as perfectly prepared a game as possible. So everyone's doing more film work than they've ever done before. Everyone's getting extra treatments. Everyone's getting extra lifts in, and meeting a little extra with your position coach. It's real. It's important. It's the most important game in the world for NFL football, and what a thrill to be a part of it. My my experience was that I never got to enjoy it, though.
Oh, it's such a shame. That kind of makes me sad. But you did mention you were on IR for the 2004 season, the Super Bowl for that one, and you had Andy Reid as your coach. So, how do you feel seeing obviously one of the teams that you love, the Eagles, and
Yeah.
then one of your coaches, Andy Reid, going against each other this year?
Well, I mean, I'll always love Andy Reid.
Big Red.
I I wish that man, it really is sort of tough to navigate, because I'm always rooting for Andy. I'm not rooting for Andy this week, uh, obviously.
And an important note there.
Yeah, he's done amazing things, and I've always been a big admirer of Andy Reid, and going back to when I was playing for him, I just wanted a chance to, you know, be around him. He's such a powerful figure that everyone in that locker room believes in, and it was a thrill every time I, caught a pass, and in practice even, and ran it down to the other end of the field, and Andy would have something to say, and I would cherish those words. He was larger than life then, and he's even bigger than that now. Andy Reid, you look at, my gosh, you look at the coaching tree of Andy Reid, and he is the most accomplished coach going right now, aside from Bill Belichick, who's
Yeah.
in sort of a separate category. But Andy Reid has taught this game to so many incredible and accomplished coaches, so many incredible and accomplished players. He just keeps going, and he keeps getting better, which is that says a lot about Andy Reid. The fact that he's not one to rest on his laurels and stick with what worked last year or last game. He's constantly evolving, and I think that's really amazing. Normally you don't see that. The creativity that Andy shows, the willingness to delve into the unknown and try new things. Normally, when a coach has a lot of success, he doesn't want to venture outside of that bubble, and Andy is brave in that regard. So yeah, it is a unique situation, but it's certainly not one where I'm deliberating like, do I want the Chiefs to win this thing? No, absolutely not. I want to destroy the Chiefs, and I feel sorry for Andy that he's not going to win his second Super Bowl. That's just the way it is.
He's been there enough. He's got his Hall of Fame career already established. So
That's
I'm
for sure.
sure, yeah,
I
Philly can take this one.
We were talking to Ray Didinger, I guess it was last week, about Andy. He threw it out there. He said he doesn't think this is the last time the Eagles will see Andy in the Super Bowl. And really, I mean, think about it. That team with Patrick Mahomes, they're in good shape. Regardless of what happens, they can figure it out because they've got Patrick Mahomes under center. I feel the same thing about this Eagles team.
Hmm.
We've got our guy now, and we're only paying him $1 million this year. That's going to be the major change this next offseason, that we have to, Howie Roseman has to field a roster and try to make it comparable to this one while paying the quarterback 50 times more of what he's making now. Uh, I'm certain both of these teams are going to be right back in the postseason for years to come, and I'm excited about that.
I'm right there with you. I think obviously we may be a little biased because we're in this market. We see every game, we see every snap from the Eagles. But what would you say to the national media members, most specifically Colin Cowherd and Nick Wright, I saw on their podcast this week, that there's still that narrative that Philadelphia has not proved themselves to this point going into this game. What do you say to those guys?
Well, you're right. They haven't proven themselves against the best competition, but this team doesn't pick their schedule. They don't choose the quarterbacks that they go up against. They don't get to, customize their schedule based on, hey, let's go out there and rock one of the best teams in the league this week, and that'll prove our doubters wrong. This Eagles team has, realistically, they played Aaron Rodgers, who's a great quarterback. I think that people are hung up on what great quarterbacks have they beaten this year. And you can say Aaron Rodgers. You can say, I guess, Ryan Tannehill's good. Not even Ryan Tannehill's okay. Dak, we didn't play him the first
Mhm.
time, and we didn't have our guy the second time we played Dallas. There wasn't a lot of accomplished signal callers that we beat up on. And of course, everyone harkens back to last season when the Eagles' Achilles heel was playing legitimately outstanding quarterbacks. They picked us apart. We sat back there in soft zones, and we were passive, and even a guy like Derek Carr was able to eat us up. Those concerns have not gone away because we haven't played great quarterbacks and had success against them. But my point is, we haven't had the opportunity. And when you look at these rosters and you compare them, we are so hand over fist significantly better uh, than the Chiefs are. Not at quarterback, not at tight end, but pretty much everywhere else. So I expect to have a dominant showing in this Super Bowl. I expect Nick Sirianni and company to have this team ready because they always do, and they do a great job with tapping into the right tone and emotions for the guys, and they will. What it's going to take is us proving the doubters wrong, and we haven't really had the opportunity to do that yet this year. We are going to win the Super Bowl. And afterwards, people will say, okay, that truly was the best team. Yeah, they were the last team to lose a game during the regular season, but we had questions because of the level of difficulty of their schedule. Now they've played the best team aside from the Eagles in the Kansas City Chiefs, and they dominated them. And by the way, Jalen Hurts will also finally get the recognition that he deserves because he's going to beat Patrick Mahomes. And I think a big reason why Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes is I was thinking about it this week. Like, we scrutinize these Super Bowl teams, and you learn so much about the major players on these teams with the Super Bowl media day and just the crunch of media attention that's upon these guys. Everyone else in the country who didn't previously know Jalen Hurts as well as we do, they're marveling at how amazing this guy is. They're saying, "Holy cow, did you listen to the way he sounded in that press conference? The guy is so locked in. This guy is an incredible leader." People had their doubts because they didn't know him. They don't know us as well as we Eagle fans do, but that's all going to change. That's all going to change, and we will embark on this new era where everyone looks at us like we're the team that can beat the Chiefs. We're the team that can go undefeated for the majority of the season, and it's not a fluke, and it has nothing to do with the level of competition. It's just because Howie Roseman has assembled the best roster in the NFL, and Nick Sirianni and Jonathan Gannon and Shane Steichen do a great job of making sure the right plays are called at the right times and these players understand their jobs. It's finally going to come to fruition that we're going to get the proper respect after this game.
I'm hoping that we do because I feel like it's been all season long, even when we were undefeated. Nobody gave us the credit. So hopefully we get that this week. But you kind of mentioned it too. I am kind of nervously, really confident going
Yeah.
into this game because you said it. Quarterback, yeah, Patrick Mahomes is a fantastic quarterback. They beat us there slightly because Jalen Hurts hasn't gotten a chance to truly prove himself yet. Tight end, obviously, Travis Kelce, one of the best in the game. But the rest of this roster and the amount of weapons that Philly has and how dominant they are on both sides, I don't think there's really a competition there. So when I
Oh,
try to get my final score prediction down for this, I struggle with the Eagles having somewhere around, I don't see them getting less than 27-28. So I'm putting them somewhere around the low 30s. And
yeah.
then I'm like even giving them the benefit of the doubt. Patrick Mahomes getting the ball to run down the field and try to make a last chance attempt. I don't see them really going higher than mid 20s. So like my benefit of the doubt score, I'm going 31-28 Eagles. What do you
Wow.
think
Uh,
going into this one?
you know, all week long, the last couple weeks, I've felt like this doesn't have to be that close. We are so solid. And we have an advantage in that our bread and butter is pounding the football on the ground. And that this Chiefs defense, they're not great at stopping the run. I know yardage wise, they're eighth in yards allowed, which is, pretty good, rushing yards allowed. But they get up on teams, and most teams have to abandon the run because Patrick Mahomes is so amazing. And so teams don't run it because of the game script. I think we're going to pound the ball on this team. I think we will shove the ball down their throats, and that will to some degree, prevent it from being like a 45 pointer to, 40 point. The numbers, because we will be running the ball and the clock will be running, will not be obscene. But I think we can win by a touchdown. I think we could win by double digits. But the thing that works against that, Shil Kapadia had this awesome stat that Patrick Mahomes has started 93 games as the Chiefs quarterback. And in all but 3 of those games, they have held the lead or been within a touchdown in the fourth quarter. So the point is, they don't get blown out. Patrick Mahomes is a big reason why, because he can keep coming back and get them points when they need it. So he can keep them within reach. I think our secondary is amazing, though. And I think our pass rush is amazing. And he's hurt, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
And everyone seems to say, hey, look, he was good against the Bengals. And didn't you see the way he ran for, the last play? He got them into field goal range using his legs. His ankle's fine. I'm telling you, his ankle is not fine. That's a high ankle sprain. What he tore is the ligament that holds your tibia and your fibula in place. It's called the syndesmotic membrane. This thing right here has no blood flow, so it doesn't heal. I don't care how long it's been. That injury takes a month and a half until you feel like you can really move around again. And he has not had a month and a half to recover. So he will be hindered. Patrick Mahomes at 80% is still one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen. But against our pass rush, that Hassan Reddick coming off of that edge, screaming off of that edge, it's faster than what they've seen all year long. And it's not just Hassan Reddick, it's our entire D line. We know all about it. Double-digit sacks for 4 guys. We're going to get after Patrick Mahomes. And I think the bottom line is, we know Andy Reid. We love Andy Reid, but he doesn't want to run the football the way he should. And I guess I don't blame him. You've got Patrick Mahomes slinging it. Might as well just go all in, throwing the football. But they won't have the balance that they need. And that means we can tee off with our D-line. We don't have to blitz. We've seen it all year long. We get pressure. We get quarterbacks on the ground on their backs without blitzing. I think Patrick Mahomes, hindered with an injury against this defense, will struggle, and he'll get banged around a lot. And even the greatest quarterback on the planet, if you hit him enough, he won't be right. He won't be the same. I expect to win this game, and I expect it to be convincing. And I'm saying we score mid-30s. They score, I don't know, mid-20s.
I like it.
36 to 27. 36 to 26. I don't know. Let's go 36-26.
I like it.
Double digits. We're taking it all. We're world champions by 10 points. Because we're that good.
You got me all week. I was very convincing. I had like 31-24, 31-21. And then I just started getting into my head. So that's where I got cautious. But I like your score better. And I'm hoping it's like that. So you won't have to stress like we did back in 2018. But you gave me your final score. Who is your way too early MVP in this game? Do you think it's going to be Jalen? Do you think it's going to be Hassan? A lot of people are throwing him in as a dark horse. I like that one. But
I have this. If this game goes the way we just talked about, and the Chiefs end up throwing the ball entirely too much, if we get up on them and they have to, catch up mode against us, Hassan Reddick is unstoppable. And I can absolutely see, and you don't see a lot of defensive players getting the MVP of the Super Bowl. Hassan Reddick has been so outstanding this year. I would love to see him get that award. He just like Jalen Hurts doesn't get the respect, just like the Eagles don't get the respect they deserve, Hassan Reddick is still somehow overlooked on a national stage where people don't understand how amazing he's been. Part of the reason people don't know, people don't realize is we we don't need him to be out there getting after quarterbacks because the game's over at halftime. There are times where he has been limited just again by game script. If this game goes into the fourth quarter where it's close enough that that he can actually tee off and do his thing and get enough pass rushes under his belt, he will absolutely own this game. And I expect, he's great with his hands, some strip sackage. You create turnovers in the Super Bowl, you're on that short list for MVP. I would love to see Hassan Reddick win the MVP, and it's absolutely within his grasp. He can play that great. And their tackles are their weakest link. Their tackles, look, their O-line, I've heard all week people saying, hey, the O-line, they're great in pass pro and whatever, graded out at the second or third best pass pro O-line in football. The tackles aren't good enough, not against our rush guys on the edge. And I think you'll see that early. You'll see it often that we own those tackles. And Hassan Reddick, yeah, he's the guy. He's the guy who, when we win this game, people can say Hassan Reddick made Patrick Mahomes look human. And we saw Patrick Mahomes look human in the Super Bowl in 2021 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I expect this Eagles defensive coaching staff, they're scrutinizing that film. They're looking at that and they're saying, wow, we can do this too. And we're going to get after him. And Hassan Reddick is as unblockable as I've ever seen.
I love it. Before we wrap up, just because you threw it in my mind right there, do you think it tarnishes Patrick Mahomes' name if he does go back to the Super Bowl and loses again? Because then he'd be 1 for 3 in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't, because I expect him to be in that game an awful lot. He and Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes is what, 26?
27, my age. Yep.
27 with the rule adjustments, protecting quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes is going to play another decade. Andy Reid is going to be successful for another decade with Mahomes as his quarterback. So, like I said at the start, I think these teams will compete for another world championship eventually. And Patrick Mahomes, the world does not end for Patrick Mahomes because he loses to what I think is the greatest Philadelphia Eagles team ever in existence. And probably the strongest NFL team I've seen in, I can't think of a team that compares roster wise to what Howie Roseman has put out there on the field. So when you lose to the most dominant team that I've seen in recent memory, Patrick Mahomes, it's okay. It's not all your fault. You are still a great quarterback. You are still, the cat's meow. It's not the end of the world for him. It'll feel like the end of the world, but he'll be right back where he needs to be in short order.
I agree. He's just such an outstanding athlete. But fun fact, because we did say he's 27, not only is this the first time that we have 2 black quarterbacks in a Super Bowl, but it's also the youngest combined age of the quarterbacks going head to head. So, because Jalen Hurts is 24, 25. So, yeah, really cool.
It's amazing. It's super cool for our organizations.
Oh, for sure.
That we have these quarterbacks. We've identified, really, that's the keystone to any NFL team. Like, you need that guy that is the guy. And Jeffrey Lurie talked about it at the Super Bowl. Jalen is that guy. They are aware he's going to be around here for a long time. And we as Eagle fans can expect incredible football for the next 10 years or more. And it's thrilling.
So
Super
exciting.
Bowls, Super Bowls, plural.
I love it. John, thank you so much for checking in with us all season long. And good luck to you as you're getting ready to transfer into that morning slot over at WIP.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you for this season. It's been a lot of fun. We've got a lot of great football ahead of us. We've got a lot of great football really soon. I cannot wait.
I know we're getting those pregame jitters already, and it's only Thursday. But that's all we have
Yeah.
for In the Huddle for the NFL season, the final time this year. And make sure that you go check out the Bet Parks app.